Welcome to Access Point. Access Point is a new on-demand business education tool being developed for use by small businesses across the District of Columbia. Access Point is brought to you by the DC Department of Housing and Community Development, DHCD, the DC Department of Small and Local Business Development, DSLBD, District Bridges, and the Rhode Island Avenue Main Street.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Access Point Radio. Today we are continuing our series of COVID business survival stories, and I am so pleased to welcome one of my fellow Main Street directors, Kate Dean from the Glover Park Main Street program. And hello Kate, welcome.
Hi Kyle, thanks for having us.
Sure. I'm super excited to invite you to talk to us along with one of your fantastic businesses that I'm also very happy to talk to and about. So we're also bringing in Hugo Linares from Wide World of Wines. He is the owner, and Chris Conroy, manager of Wide World of Wines. Wines, one of my favorite topics. So glad to talk to you all. Welcome, Hugo and Chris.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation.
Hello, how wonderful to talk to you today.
We are so glad to have you. Let's start, Kate, why don't you give everybody an idea of where Glover Park Main Street is here in the Washington, D.C. area?
Absolutely. Thank you. So Glover Park is an area in the northwest quadrant of the city. We are in Ward 3. Glover Park sits right in between Tenleytown and Georgetown, following down on Wisconsin Avenue. So historically, this area has been home to a thriving international restaurant scene. There is little retail, but neighborhood retail. It is one of the nicer residential areas of the city. The people who live there have lived there for a long time. Typically, families have grown up there. There are good schools. There are grocery stores and regular services like dry cleaners and things that make a neighborhood a real neighborhood in a city. Glover Park, however, has been on the decline for the past maybe five or so years, really being hurt by Whole Foods Market leaving 3 years ago. There was a legal dispute between the grocery store chain and its landlord here in Glover Park. It went into litigation, and when a huge anchor property like that with parking leaves a neighborhood, it can really affect the smaller mom and pop and individually owned businesses up and down the corridor. Also, there were just some demographic shifts. The neighborhood was an area really popular with fun bars for people right out of college. And those people have grown up and now they have kids. And the group houses that used to exist in the neighborhood are now single family homes. So it's just a changing area. This area is kind of like this. It's gone through cycles like this before. But the neighborhood rallied together and decided that they wanted to assemble into a Main Street program and partner with DC under DSLBD and see if they couldn't figure out a way to support the businesses there and to get the neighborhood thriving again. So that effort took place over the course of about 18 months. They were successful, and the grant was awarded starting on October 1st of last year, just 2019. So we have only been in existence for a few months, and we're preparing to do all the great things that Main Street programs do, like facade grants and supporting businesses when COVID-19 hit.
Nothing like the first year of just throwing you in the deep end of the pool.
Absolutely.
Well, you're already off to a great start in assisting businesses through this very challenging time for small businesses in particular, and Wide World of Wines is a great example of that. Hugo and Chris, would you mind giving us a rundown of Wide World of Wines? How long you've been in business? What your specialty market looks like? Talk to us a little bit
Sure.
about your business.
Sure. I think Hugo might be best able to sort of talk about the history of the business. I can just say that I am one of those people who moved to Glover Park in 2000. It was my junior year of college at American University, and I have stayed and since continued to age. So, I both live here and work here. So I think that I'm definitely one of the people who is in the neighborhood of Glover Park. And Hugo here has been in the wine industry for, I believe, since 1985. So, I mean, he can talk a little bit more about that and about how Wide World of Wines was and his experience with that.
Okay, so just to tell you this little bit of the story behind the company, I started working for Wide World of Wines in 1985. Back then, I was 25 years old. I came from Peru. I was graduated in Peru from a business school and Piura University, which is in the north of Peru. My family we come from a farmer's families by generation. So we understand perfectly what is agriculture and what is an agro-industrial product, which is wine. And I started working at the Wide World of Wines, where it was located on Massachusetts Avenue, where AU Law School is now. That was back in 1985, and it was owned by the Peters family. I started like assistant manager, and then the company was sold to Elliot Stern, who came out from MacArthur Bassin's liquor store. And I stayed with him as an assistant manager again because he brought his own manager. And after that, I opened the Mexican market for the company, selling a lot of big high-end wines. So that's my specialization, fine and rare wines. But at the same time, that gave me the opportunity to learn a lot about little producers and low-price wines that have the quality that usually people are looking for. Like a bottle of wine that you can pay $20, but it tastes like $45 bottle of wine. So that's what we are trying just to give to our customers. Our company is fully oriented to 100% just customer service because we are small. We cannot compete with the big companies that sell online. They don't have employees. They don't have a location. They just have warehouses. And that's the internet. What is doing this? What I'm trying to do is just keep it up as a wine merchant, like the old-fashioned way. Customer service, 100%. That's our niche. And that's how people know us all over the world. We do business in the UK. We do business in Switzerland, in Germany, Brazil, Mexico. We are little, but we do a lot. And people, they don't know. That's what they always, when they come to the store and see the facility, the wine room, the storage facility, and they get crazy. Say, whoa, I didn't know that you were here. So yeah, this is the best kept secret in town. And people like that. And
That we're the best kept secret in DC.
Well, Hugo, you've been in this business for a long time. Have you, as a business owner, a business employee, have you ever seen anything like what businesses are facing right now with COVID-19?
no, not really. This times is just crazy. You know, it's difficult.
Yeah. Chris, what did you see needing to happen to keep Wide World of Wines moving forward?
I mean, as we discovered trying to set up this conversation, tech is definitely important. It's important for us to have the ability to do things online. First, one of the major things that we've done since I've been here, which has been since Hugo took over, just before since Hugo took over in 2014, has been to create and update a kind of e-commerce website. We just had like a one pager, GeoCities site that said, give us a call or send us an email. And we had an AOL address. So
Yeah.
I've been kind of responsible for dragging us into the 21st century in a lot of ways. My coworker's been putting together the website, but I've been doing a lot with Instagram, doing a lot with, we finally have a domain name, wideworldofwines.com. And we finally have an e-commerce website that we're just sort of starting to launch off the ground. And that's been kind of a lot of my role has been in this sort of dragging us into the 21st century. So
it's a great logo too.
Yeah, we changed the logo too.
We changed the logo, changed everything.
Yeah.
When Hugo came on, I was actually hired by the previous owner, and Hugo asked me to stay with him, and so I did, because he was so great as a coworker, that he's been great as a boss too.
Fantastic.
I think they're being a bit shy about things, though, Kyle, if I may, just for a second. They do make a very, very good team. That is true. But the Main Street program is very young. I only started in December. So I've only known them for what it's really a matter of months at this point, a matter of weeks. But I feel like I've known them for a very long time. They are organized business owners. They not only know their business and their customers and their space and everything that they need to operate on a regular basis, and they are a very tight-knit team, like many small businesses are. There's another employee that is reliable and constant and, great with customers as well. They all kind of share traits that make it a very wonderful, comfortable shopping experience. But the other thing that they are is organized and well-informed. So absolutely. When we started to see what was coming with COVID and with the reaction from the city, the early action from the city, Chris and Hugo were organized enough at that time to be able to come to us as a Main Street program and to say, here's what we're looking at. Here's what we may need. We're paying close attention to this. And they automatically kind of became one of the leading businesses in the corridor who was preparing to either pivot or respond. And at the time, we had no idea what it was going to take or what was going to happen, but they were paying attention. And that was really important.
I've got to say about Kate, we actually met her when she walked in the store looking for a bottle of wine.
It's true.
And so I remember this. You walked in, you were looking for, I think, a rosé. We hooked you up with something really nice from Provence. And then it wasn't until the next time you came back that you said, hey, by the way, I work for Glover Park Main Streets, and I think I can help you guys. Like, I think it was kind of neat that the first time that we met you was as a client, as a customer. You walked in the door, we helped you out, and then when you came back next time, we were like, hey, you were here, you like that Provençal rosé, and she said, oh, yes, I did. You do. You remember that. You remember me. And, kind of got to know us in that sense at first, because she was based right upstairs from us. So I think it's really neat that we actually met Kate as part of the community. She was somebody from the community who walked in our front door and said, hey, I'd like a bottle of wine. I kind of like this, that, and the other thing. And we were able to hook her up with that. So ever since then, I've got to give her so much credit for reaching out to us and, walking in the door and kind of being personable as a neighborhood consumer, that then we've sort of built up our relationship from there.
And also, when I mentioned that she can bring our but I don't want to say this, our complaints about what is going on with the DC government and us, and she can take our direct to the people that, they can hear us. Like, for example, I mentioned something to her about Abra, that they give away licenses to individuals that they don't have a store. They just have a warehouse and they operate from there and they compete with us. And I have a store. I pay rent. I have 2 employees, and they don't take in consideration that. And I believe it's not fair. So they have to hear us, and she is our channel to, say something.
Our advocate for sure. And what Hugo's mostly talking about is the DC Liquor Board will give licenses to people who are running an online store, and those people are not paying property taxes. They aren't necessarily functioning really in DC. It's just that DC is easy to ship alcohol into and out of. The regulations are pretty relaxed as far as states are concerned, so people will come here to get their online license. They really just have a warehouse in DC. They're not paying for real estate. They're not employing members of the district. Hugo's 2 employees are both district employees. We're both district residents and live here and pay all of the DC taxes that are associated with that. So that's something that we've been able to sort of address through Kate and through Glover Park Main Street.
Yeah.
She has also been extremely helpful to us in terms of getting any kind of funding to offset what's going on now with COVID. So she's been a great sort of channel for us to get through to the powers that be in the district.
Well, let's talk about that pivot. Let's talk about what Wide World of Wines is doing now that you were not doing before COVID-19 impacted businesses so dramatically.
For sure. Hugo and I were just talking about this morning, about how the model and, the space that we have here, the real estate we have here is a large shop and a large downstairs warehouse area. And our clientele were used to walking into the store and browsing around the shelves and picking bottles up and looking at the back and putting them down. And, we have a large storage facility as well. So we have lockers that individuals rent to store their wine in here on site. All of that has changed. All of that is no longer okay. We've had to change to curbside pickups, deliveries, shipping. We need people to call ahead before they come in, to come and let us know what they're looking for. We have people walking in the door that then we're already positioned pretty well to help, because we are used to that face-to-face customer service aspect, where it's like, hey, hi, how are you? What do you like? Like, what are you in search of today? What can we direct you towards? So having to keep people in our vestibule, having to kind of work with them over the phone and email, has been the major pivot. People are not able to walk in anymore and browse the shelves. So having our website and our inventory exact and up to date has been key. The personal relationships we already had with certain people, that they trust us.
Yeah.
Right. Like our friend Tom called the other day and said, can you pick me out 2 cases, half and half red and rosé, or half and half white and rosé, and another one of red? And Hugo said, of course, because Hugo's known Tom for 25 years and can just pick out the kind of things that he's interested in. So he didn't have to come in the store. So that's one of we've both been sort of already set up for that, because we know our clients so well, that they can call us up and say, hey, pick me out X amount of bottles from Y to Z price point.
But now that the people, they cannot walk into the store, because that's the enchantment of the store. It's like when you walk in and we give you the tour, they fall in love with the store. Now we cannot do it anymore. And what I was trying to do is trying to provide more education for younger professionals about wine. We even did a presentation on a law firm to introduce to the new lawyers of those law firms into wine, how to order wine when you go to a restaurant, all that kind of stuff that we cannot do anymore. So that's going to hurt to build up more relationships with younger professionals, and all that is affecting us. But
another major thing is we had a huge tasting. We do special events down in our cellar. We were supposed to have our big annual Spain tasting on the 25th, just this past Saturday.
Weekend. Yeah.
And that is, I'm looking at pictures right now of some of our people doing that. This was our Napa Sonoma tasting that you're seeing on the screen.
And usually those tasting generates at least $20,000 in sales that we are not going to have.
Not to mention all of the market research that having those events helps us get, because we've got, say, 75, 80 people in the store all tasting wines, and then you find which ones are the most popular, which ones do people like the most. And then we're able to bring in multiple cases of that and sell them for the rest of the year. That's obviously not an option right now. We had to sort of indefinitely postpone that event. And pivot towards we're trying to pivot towards talking to people on the phone, talking to people via email. We're going to try and set up some virtual tastings if we can upgrade our tech equipment a little bit more. But that is something that is definitely, our special events have definitely suffered, and that's one of our major draws. And that's how we kind of welcome you to the family, is like we get, new people or younger people who are like, oh, hey, I heard about this event from a friend. Let me come and taste some wine. And then they fall in love with us, and they fall in love with the space, and they, then they come back and we are their wine people. So the lack of being able to have 80 people down in the cellar is being no longer an option is a problem.
Sure. So how are you picking up some additional, you mentioned the being able to order online and pick up curbside, or call in and pick up curbside. Are you doing anything else to get product into your customers' hands?
For sure. I mean, one of the things that we've expanded on has been getting our name out there online, talking to you guys today, being on Instagram. Instagram's been a great opportunity for us to show off, because we do have some very special types of wine and, producers in our cellar that not everyone has necessarily seen before. And, some people can post a picture onto Instagram of their meal with their glass of wine, but we're showing 12 bottles at a time. So that's been something that we're definitely pursuing.
Also, we are going to start doing virtual wine tastings. And I was approached today from a producer in Oregon, and they want to do a virtual tasting with a winemaker. So what I'm going to do is basically it's a 3-pack of wines that we are going to send an email presenting the idea to our clients and see who's interested to have a virtual wine tasting with the winemaker in Oregon. So and we can ship the wines all over the U.S. So that's another thing that we are doing.
If I understand that correctly, then your customers would get the 3-pack of wine and open the bottles of wine and have the virtual tasting with you?
With me and the winemaker in Oregon.
Okay.
So that makes more interesting, because it's the winemaker, and people like that.
Everyone loves to talk to the winemaker. Everybody likes to go back to that artist, the wine artist's the main person. So I think that that's going to be really good for us. And that's one of the things that Glover Park Main Streets has helped us out with, is a tech upgrade so that we're able to do that without that sort of support.
And some of this is just not even that sexy, to be honest with you. So it's really amazing to do a virtual tasting. It would be really fun to do. In fact, I'm ready to do one right now. So please send the wine.
Yes.
But, some of this necessary pivot that they needed to do is not, that interesting to talk about, but it's very simple. But it was simply, okay, you can't have people coming into the store. The store is the draw. We can't do anything about that at this time. So Chris will work on beefing up the Instagram. But in the meantime, you're just going to start doing delivery. You're going to take the bottles to people's houses, leave them on their porch. It's not rocket science, and it's not really that interesting, but it has created a service line that didn't previously exist, and it's good for some consumers. I love having wine delivered. It's right up my alley.
For sure. And that has really helped us engage the neighborhood a lot too. It's helped us engage Glover Park because people either went looking or we found them, one way or the other. And we're saying, what's the closest wine shop to me? Oh, look, this place exists that I didn't know was there before, and they deliver. So we have a couple new neighborhood clients now that have come back, to get something else, to get their second order, their third order, their fourth order. And that's what we do.
These are great stories. These are absolutely the things that we wanted to highlight on this series of talking to entrepreneurs and how they're working around the COVID restrictions. So obviously, as you look at the tech upgrade, that opens up a whole world of possibilities for you, and not just about social media, but what are you, when you think of the future with your tech upgrades and some of the lessons that you're learning from how you've had to adapt to COVID, how do you see Wide World of Wine either continuing some new process that they're engaged in now, or morphing into something even bigger and better as the world starts to get back to some semblance of normalcy, if that is such a thing anymore?
I think we are going to make it through. It's just we need to be positive. I'm still doing a lot of business over the phone and the internet. One other thing that I had to mention is we provide like white glove services to people who are looking for wines that they cannot find anywhere. That's one of the things that we do. And we find it because we have the tools to do it. And for example, I received a phone call from an ambassador. I don't want to say the name, but he said, Hugo, I had to stay home. I cannot drink a full bottle of wine every day, so get me half bottles. And I know what he likes, so I find out, or like 4 cases of half bottles, and he likes very high-end wine, so he spent like $7,000 just in 4 cases. So that helps a lot. I mean, I don't have to sell 100 bottles of wine to make money.
Right. The existing relationships that we have really been key in this whole situation. While it has been very nice and useful and great to look toward the future on getting the neighborhood engagement and getting our business out in front of people who haven't seen it, what I think is really letting us survive is the relationships we already have built.
Yeah, but at the same time, now is the half bottles. We are selling more half bottles than ever.
Right, it's a little different. It's responding to your client's needs, like what the clientele is coming to with us, or coming to us for. May be slightly different, but we already built up that trust. There's already a trust between this particular ambassador or, a particular CEO of a corporation or an event planner at another business, at a big office building, or, things like that. The fact that we've always been your neighborhood shop that like knows your face, knows your name, knows what you like, that people want to support that. That's what they're looking to give people are specifically looking to support small businesses like us right now. And so the relationships that Hugo has built up over the past decades have really allowed us to sort of continue doing what we do.
Well, and I think this is an incredibly valuable lesson for any small business to listen to and learn from, that customer service, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, your relationship with your customers and providing them with that quality customer service.
Absolutely.
That makes all the difference in the world, because you could be selling nothing but $6 bottles of wine. If your customer relationship is solid enough, you're still going to do well. Not that I am suggesting people buy $6 bottles of wine, but you know where I'm going
Only
with
buy
this.
$6 bottles, right? No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, but it's true. It's absolutely true. That it's that person to person relationship. And people, kind of enjoy like knowing that somebody knows them, especially about something so personal as wine. It's very particular about your palate, about what you enjoy. It's different for every person. And so knowing your clientele is the number one thing.
Sure.
So in their case, and responding to COVID, I mean, what we really wanted to focus on was not reinventing their business. It was really just enhancing it, providing some expanded services and enhancing their technology. And, I think just from hearing this, there is a huge opportunity in the promotions area to really talk to people and work on testimonials and get some more content out there in support of the business, so that when you are, in front of new eyes that aren't familiar yet with you, that other people can speak for you and talk about the great service that they've received. I think that they are an example to other businesses for a couple of reasons. One, in the organization, in the bookkeeping in the organization. And one thing we haven't talked about today, but I did want to bring up, is that they have been doing this on their own. While Chris has applied for every grant and every loan that has come down in this crisis, they have yet to receive significant support. Sometimes they were disqualified because of the business model, which is a real issue for businesses that happen to sell alcohol.
Right. We fell under a certain subset of businesses that did not necessarily qualify for grant money because we had that liquor license.
Yeah.
Even though we don't consider ourselves a liquor store, we of course have to have the license to sell both wine and spirits. And, we're more of a boutique. We're more of a wine boutique, but we weren't eligible for certain things. Other things, I have been applying like crazy and hearing nothing back. I mean, we approached our bank where we bank and, keep all the store's accounts and also run our payroll through. And we cannot get them to even let us apply for the payroll protection program. There's just like not even room, as far as they're concerned, to accept an application from a business like ours. So we're looking at alternate lenders. Have not heard back from SBA.gov on the disaster loan either, though we applied for that on April 3rd. I mean, like, I was ready to go. I came from the corporate legal world, and I was an office manager, for lawyers for a while, and learned how to file things, learned how to keep organized electronic files. I had everything. I had payroll records. I had tax records. I had narratives about the business. I had every single thing they could ever want to verify ready to go, and nobody would take it from me. Nobody would take the documents and say, okay, and let me fill out a form and let me, it's just that we were just ignored. We're too small. There's only 3 of us, and it's been extremely frustrating.
Yeah.
It's been a really frustrating.
That's a small business.
Right. That's small business for you.
And the money is supposed to be for small businesses, not big corporations. Exactly.
Yet, however, as everybody's been hearing in the news, that has not necessarily been the case. Who is supporting us is already our family. You know, already our clientele who we've had relationships for decades, already, you know, the Glover Park neighborhood, like that's where the majority of the support has come from. Unfortunately, it has not come from the federal government. And unfortunately, DC was not given enough resources by the federal
Yeah.
government to come to our aid. So like most small businesses and like running small business anywhere, we've had to do this all by ourselves. It's all bootstraps. It's all, what are we going to do today to get our name in front of somebody, to make some sales, to like sell some wine to people today so that we can keep going. And just being willing to be totally flexible on that, and being willing to try new things and to utilize channels we already had. It's definitely difficult. Nobody is trying to ride to our rescue from large government
Except for
organizations
Kate.
at this point. Except
Kate
for
is riding
Kate.
to your rescue.
Super Kate.
Super Kate, for sure. She helped us. Honestly, she has been and Glover Park Main Street has been the number one. That's really the only place we're seeing a lot of any aid come from. She got us a grant to help sort of expand our delivery options and offer completely free delivery to Glover Park in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And is working with us on this tech upgrade so that we can do more things virtually, do virtual tours, do virtual tastings. And without that sort of grassroots level support from the neighborhood, we, would not see any aid at all. We wouldn't, we haven't gotten anything else.
Well,
and I
that's
think
what the
that's
Main
a
Street
huge
program
problem.
is here to do.
Right.
Yeah.
We're
Absolutely.
glad that-
And they're doing it. We love Main Streets. So
we'll get that in writing later, okay?
Yeah.
okay, sounds good. Sounds like a good plan.
It sounds like you guys are going to make it through this. You're obviously a solid business with a solid plan and lots of support from the Glover Park Main Street and the community. Folks, if you want to learn more about Wide World of Wines, you can visit their website, www.wideworldofwines.com. Let's see, you are located at 2201 Wisconsin Avenue Northwest, correct?
Yes.
That is correct. I'd also like to let everybody who might be listening to this know that we are going to be offering through the website a special coupon code. So if you put in RIA podcast in when you check out on our website, you can
10%
get
off.
10% off for the month of May on any orders you might
Nice.
place through there. So we just
All right, you heard it here,
we
folks.
want to. Yep, you heard it here first. That's our brand new promotion.
And when is this all over, you are more than welcome to come and have a glass of wine with me in the cellar.
Absolutely,
you know
which
what?
highly
I will
recommend.
absolutely be there. Can
Okay,
I bring my wife? Because somebody's got to drive.
Of course.
Of course you
course.
can. Of course you can. That would be wonderful. And we're really looking forward to opening up our special events again.
That code for 10% off, you said, is RIA
indeed.
podcast?
RIA podcast.
Great. Well, thanks for doing that. I am going to go order some right now. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, we look forward to learning your palate, Kyle.
It's simple. Is it wine? Yes. All right.
Is it wine? Do I like it? Yep. And that's the first step. I always like to say that the best part about learning about wine is that you get to drink wine.
There we go. Well, Chris Conroy, manager of Wide World of Wines, Hugo Linares, the owner of Wide World of Wines, thank you both for joining us and continue the good work. Kate Dean, director of Glover Park Main Street. Good job, Kate. Keep up that good work. Thank you all for joining us today. And we'll see you soon at Wide World of Wines.
Sounds great. Thank you, Kyle, so much for having us.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.